pro-style defenses. SEC is full of pro-style defenses. That's all there is down here. We ain't none of this chunk and dunk. Hope we outscore people all over the place, over in the West and up north.
That's literally what your point differentials always say. They put up like 50-plus points a game on a regular basis.
That's out there in the West. That's out in the West. And against crappy teams. You play good teams in the South, you do not do that.
When Western teams do not exist in the NFL, they don't put those same points up because they have better defenses they're going up against.
Most of them are from the SEC. They're on the defenses.
You're not facing a Seattle Seahawks defense in college. You're not facing a New England
Yes, you are.
In college.
The SEC.
You just told us earlier you don't know that much about college football, so I'm trying to
stop points.
I'm trying to honestly give you the benefit of the doubt.
Or 6+ points on a regular basis.
But again,
because
you ain't listening.
The Chargers, for example,
you're hearing, but you ain't listening.
Team, or any West Coast offensive team that you want to throw in the hat in the NFL, they run very similar, if not the same style of offenses in terms of that West Coast run and gun shoot like for points, just like they do in college. The difference is they don't nearly make as many points because the defense they face are much tougher.
Let me Mike, I guess what it is because there are certain divisions that that are getting like this discount that you're mentioning about is what he was saying. It's like the SEC. It's like they do play pro-style defenses here. But, yeah, I get you where you're coming from because most of the college teams where they go ahead and come on, man. We already know that some of these teams, some of these quarterbacks, or just any player, when you play against some of these teams, you're not going to face the best talent every week in and out.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
The NFL is the cream of the crop of what you're talking about. Whoever comes from the SEC, those 6 are going to get matched up with those 6 people who came last year and the year before them who are all equal to them, if not already better. You know
but
what I'm
the majority,
they might have been the standouts in Alabama. They're not going to be the standouts in the NFL.
But they are. That's the thing I'm trying to tell you. The standouts at Alabama are the standouts in the thing. The standouts at Florida are the standouts in the NFL. The standouts at Florida State are the standouts in the NFL. The standouts from Southern football, Southern college football, are the standouts in the NFL. Ray Lewis. Need I say more?
They got Vince Wilfork up.
Vince Wilfork. Most of their stinking
and my
defense up there is and his offense as well. Most of your talent comes from the SEC.
Okay,
college football down here is the closest to pro football you will ever see.
Here's my difference.
Go ahead, Mike.
Here's my difference, right? J.J. Watt, Ray Lewis.
Played in the South.
Throw anybody that you want my way. All of those guys, right?
Played in the South.
No matter where you face, you're facing people of that level all over the place, and they're complemented by players who are at least somewhat close to the talent around them. Like J.J. Watt's Texans team would most likely just if you took those 6 players or you took Ray Lewis, whatever case may be, and took them back to the college team that they faced with the teams that they have now, they dominate those teams.
Actually,
because
Ray Lewis don't have
all the talent around them as well. As opposed to them, those 6.
You're, like I said, you listening, but you're not hearing what I'm trying to tell you.
I think it's the other way around.
No, it's not. The reason why all these guys are so good in the NFL is because they play in the certain styles that people that are coaching them were NFL coaches. They are prepared. You come down south and you play football at college, you are preparing yourself for the NFL. You are preparing yourself to go to the NFL. These guys don't
that's the same thing in every sport, though. Every sport has a preparation period for it. That doesn't mean it's equally as tough as the pro level.
Wrong, because basketball, you can go straight from high school and go straight into the pros and succeed.
If you're that good, same thing in college. You can go in college and play 1 year and go straight to NFL.
Well, that's because they have to now. If they didn't have to, they'd go to college and go straight to the NFL.
But that's not the.
But they can't go straight to the NFL from going.
But you're using that as a way to differentiate the NBA. The only difference is the regulation, not the talent.
No, because I guarantee you, a kid cannot go out of high school and go straight into the NFL. That would never
You
happen.
never know that because the regulation doesn't allow that.
Because they can't. They're
Like,
not
you
physically.
can't
They're
say
not
that. You can
physically
only
able
assume
to.
that. Your only points you can make is say, "I bet that it wouldn't happen." That's all you can tell me.
They're not
Until you
physically
get
able
back,
to.
can't
If
prove
you
that.
take a 19-year-old kid and put him up against J.J. Watt and tell him to block him, he'll get freaking mauled.
You're just saying,
And he gets mauled when he goes to college.
If I told you the same thing for NBA, oh, this kid's only like 17, blah blah blah. No, but if I tell you the kid is LeBron James, you're gonna think differently. You have to tell me who the 19-year-old kid is. Don't tell me it's just some 19-year-old kid.
Well,
You
first
can't
off, if you're a
make that argument.
19-year-old
You can't-
kid, you still in high school,
can't
you
use-
dumb as a box of rock.
You can't use a 19-year-old kid as your football example and then say LeBron James is your football.
There is
or
a
NBA
huge
example.
difference between basketball and football. I'm sorry.
I-
There is a
I know
huge
that.
difference.
I
Huge
know
difference.
that there's a difference. I know that there's a difference.
But you can't take a kid that has not matured into his body and expect him to go to the NFL and produce against guys that are mature and have been lifting weights their whole stinking
I'm
life.
gonna put it this way. J.J. Watt goes to the NFL. He's going to be around people more of his caliber when he goes there. Not when he stays in college. He's going to be the huge thing. Like, J.J. Watt still has to get better to be the standout in the NFL. Not just be the same J.J. Watt in college. As every player does. Like RG3 can be a standout in Baylor. He's going to have to step it up when he gets to the NFL. Why? Because it's tougher, harder competition in terms of defense.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's the difference in the football that you're talking about. There's a huge difference in the football that you're talking about with RG3 and then I'm talking about that Tim Tebow played against.
Okay, so if you agree with that, and if you remember my original point, that's what I said in terms of football in college and football in the NFL. They put up way more points in college because the defenses aren't as good. They have to step up. Did we not just agree that RG3 or J.J. Watt and whatnot will have
Because
to
they played it
continue
shitty. They played it. Oh my
to-
Jesus Christ. Let me get out of here
literally
before
just
this guy
agree with me that they
makes
all
me
have
in
to
the nose.
step up to make sure that they remain standouts in the NFL. If they have to step up,
can
wouldn't
get
that
through it.
imply that the NFL is tougher? If they didn't have to step up, then it is not tougher.
Dude, first off, you just said you know nothing about college football. You know nothing about college football. That was your quote. Hush! 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 My show, hush!
Would you have
Hush!
to step up for something that's not tougher? Also, coincidentally, this league, they put up significantly less points, and you just acknowledge that they have to step up, but the NFL's not tougher. Okay.
First off,
Okay.
never
You have
said
to
the
step up
NFL
to
was
the
not
average
tougher.
level.
You said there is nothing in the college football that compared to the NFL, and I told you you was wrong. If you play in the
I
SEC,
said that
you are
it's more
playing
difficult
against
in the NFL, and that's why those scrambling quarterbacks.
Will you shut up for a second and let me talk?
That's what I said. Hey, come on, don't be emotional now. Calm
I'm
down.
telling you to
But
shut up
anyway,
and let me talk
calm
because you
down,
ain't
calm
listening.
down,
You
yo,
know
don't be
nothing
emotional.
about college football,
Calm down,
but
don't
let
be
you won't let
emotional.
me
Like I said,
educate you
like I
about
said,
college football.
My original point was this, right? That the college level difficulty is not the same as the NFL difficulty.
And you're wrong. In certain places, it is as just as good as the NFL.
You acknowledge that they have to step up to
So let's-
continue to be standouts. It can't be both ways.
So let's-
Do they not step up?
So
Are you going to tell me that you don't have to get better to remain who you are in the NFL?
When you
That
play at Baylor and you go out and score 56
Hold on.
points because the guys you're playing
J.J.
suck.
Watt did not get better after college.
We're running in circles. Let's do
J.J.
this.
Watt didn't get better after college.
So,
but he stepped up. The NFL's not tougher though. He was the same guy, right?
We'll just agree to disagree.
Well, listen, the whole point is that there are some teams there, but what he's saying is that there are certain divisions or leagues that are more NFL ready. And that was Kevin was trying to say. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some games.
NFL is what I'm saying.
Right. There are some games.
Check this out. Right. All I'm saying is this. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with that. Of course, there are going to be people like that are NFL ready in college, right? But all those guys will go to the NFL, right? And they're going to stay there for like the next 10 years. And whoever's next is going to stay there, and they're going to keep adding on in the NFL, which ultimately makes them tougher because J.J. Watt will be there for like 10 more years.
Right.
If another J.J. Watt comes up this year, he's going to the NFL with J.J. Watt. If one comes after those two, he's going to, and now there's like 10 of them in that league. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why the NFL is tougher because all those guys are going to stay there, get better, and mature and become much better players. In college, yeah, they're going to be good, they're going to be talented, but they're going to be pure raw talent up until they get to the NFL.
Let me intervene. Let me intervene. Is that
You
so?
can't compare the two. You can't.
So basically, because I know this is This is probably why I know there's with college football is that I would imagine it's kind of hard for you to watch because there are some games that that are significantly blowouts, right? Right. So I get what you're saying, man. It's just it's a little bit here, but let's move a little bit forward and talk a little bit about
all
basketball.
I know is Florida's defense shut down a team that scored 46 points today to 10 points. But I guess none of those guys are talented and NFL ready.
I didn't say that they weren't. I just said that the NFL.
That was my point I was trying to make to you.
That's all I said.
You can't compare the teams that.
no
Shut
talent.
up for a second.
You can't put words in my mouth though.
I'm not putting words in your mouth because this is what you
I
said.
didn't say that there's no talent though.
You said there's no place that the talent is comparable to the NFL. I said you're wrong. The
I said
closest
it's not
thing you're
the
going to
same, and that's true.
the closest thing
I
you're
just
going to
said
get
it's
in
not
the
the same.
All right,
You're not facing
okay.
the same. You're not
Okay.
facing the same
Let's,
defense, and that's the truth.
Let's keep moving. Let's move a little bit of basketball.
I ain't talking basketball because
No,
only
so
5 games into the
last
season.
thing I'm going to say about this point, right, is
Go
the
ahead.
number one defense in the NFL the same as the number one defense in college. Which defense is going to be tougher?
I agree. Yes, NFL.
Thank you. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. Not to say that the SEC or any of those leagues are garbage or anything like that, but it's going to be a different level of competition when you get to the NFL. Because the 6 guys, the guy when they're there, there's going to be 12 of them in the NFL. That's a fact.
Right.
That's
right.
a fact. That's not something I even have to argue or watch. We know that because that's why it's a pro level.
Yeah.
Come on, like.
No worries. All right, let's move forward here. We'll talk a little bit about basketball. Talk to me about the Golden State, man. Because they got a game tonight. They're the game of the undefeated here so far. You got Golden State and Houston. Your thoughts about, first of all, what do you think about the Golden State chance here? Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. I made a pick here as far as, playoffs, and I picked them to be the team looking out. But right now,
Golden State?
Yeah, I think they're going to be the 9th seed, man.
Ninth. Wow.
Yeah, so that was my prediction because I think the West is so crazy, and I don't know how. I'm still trying to buy into Steve Kerr, and so I don't know why they let go of Mark Jackson. I'm still a little bitter about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk. Tell me a little bit about Golden State a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts about them.
Well, so far, it looks like Steve Kerr actually got them playing better defense. 2, I mean. I agree with you. I don't know why Mark Jackson had to go. I'm not sure what ended up happening that caused all that, but I mean, what happened.
I don't know. You changed success, but But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So Steve Kerr. I mean, it seems like he's still a good fit. I mean, the players seem to still like him. He still seems to establish himself like the same way Mark Jackson did. So luckily, they're not missing a beat with that. And 3, I think that certain players that were prospects or just kind of role players are going to step up this year. Even though it's easy to say now, since before the season started, I said Klay Thompson makes himself known as an all-star this year, and Stephen Curry moves up to superstar this year. And so far, so good.
Right.
And Andrew Bogut looks really in shape, and the entire team got better in shooting. The okay shooters got even to be better shooters.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, he was okay. He's more consistent this year.
You think
Iguodala from 3, he got even better this year. I just feel like that team is stacked in terms of shooting and defense. Steve Kerr got them playing defensively.
All right, so I put me out the playoffs. Where do you think they're gonna be at? Give me a projection for them.
Honestly, I think they're gonna be a top 3 seed.
Ooh, top 3 seed.
Because OKC's out, right?
Right.
With injury, so I definitely think they're gonna be at least out long enough to not be a top 3 seed. But they're gonna be dangerous like a top 3 seed, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So they're out. So far, if I had to pick out of the Warriors and Clippers, I like the Warriors better right now. I'm thinking top 3 seed.
Okay.
Cause just even if you move those like 2 of the top 3 out, I mean the Warriors just naturally roll in. Not even talking about how much better they got.
Right. Tell me where you think Klay Thompson is as far as top shooting guards in the game.
Whew. Klay Thompson.
Hey, he's been playing pretty good, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's man. That dude's been winning on that court.
Oh
man, this year he might. Man, he's creeps in the top 10 this year. He creeps in the top 10 this year. I don't know how far into it, but I know he creeps into it. Only because shooting guards, I don't think there's anyone who's massively better than him that knock him out. Where I'm if Klay Thompson's top 10, you're gonna look at me what? There's not that many shooting guards I think that are that much better than him where you can feel like that's a bold thing to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give me a better backcourt out of Curry and Clay versus Bill and Wall.
Curry and Clay, say again.
Curry and Clay and Bill and Wall, Washington Wizards. That backcourt compared to those.
Bradley Beal and Wall.
Yeah.
Steph